Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a not so fun video to make today. So if you're seeing this, I believe this should be the day after the season has dropped, and that is to say that Cowboy Bebop is up on Netflix. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the reason I'm making this is that if you haven't seen it yet, I would recommend not watching it. Now, I'm saying that just based off everything that I've heard. I went into this show not really wanting to watch it. I just kind of knew everything I saw, everybody was getting excited, I felt bad, and I didn't say a word. I kept it to myself, right? Like, I would talk about it with friends, but I tried to avoid talking about it online. I didn't want to talk smack. Here and there, I took some jabs, but for the most part, I kept very much to myself. I didn't care if people told me they were excited. If people told me they were excited, I was like, cool, I'm glad you're excited. And I don't want to say I told you so, but I did tell you so. So yeah, Bebop sucks, and I'm glad I didn't watch it, because here's the thing, right? There are two types of people, right? There are people who are going to have already seen Bebop by the time that this video comes out. There's going to be people who have already seen Netflix's Bebop by the time this video drops. And there's going to be people who are sort of waiting on it. And then there's going to be people like me who are Bebop fans who normally would have watched Netflix's Bebop the second it dropped, but didn't because they still have wartime flashbacks to Death Note.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
So before we actually dig into what the backlash seems to have been from this, before we get into like what the internet says about Cowboy Bebop or Netflix's Bebop, there's two things I want to make very clear before we jump in, okay? One, we have a Discord. You should join. There's a link in the description. And two, do not be a jerk to the cast nor the crew. I don't care how mad you are. It is not any one particular person's issue. Let's say that for whatever reason it is solely on the writer. The writer ruined everything. It was all the writer's fault. Everybody else did absolutely nothing wrong, and it was just the writer. That's insanely unlikely, but let's just pretend like that is. That still doesn't give you the right to be an absolute monster. Now, if they're like Trevor Wingard, and they were an absolute douchebag for most of the Death Note thing, then yeah, sure, you may take your pot shots. I'm not exactly the nicest person on the planet either, so I'm not going to tell you to not talk smack to the person talking smack to you. But when we've seen nothing but like kindness from the Bebop crew, I don't want this to turn into a Star Wars situation where the fans just start attacking blindly. John Cho did nothing wrong. The rest of the cast did nothing wrong. Even the person playing Ed, we'll talk about Ed, they also did nothing wrong. This is not on them at all. The director did not, like, the director doesn't deserve your hate. The writer doesn't deserve your hate. I don't, like, from what I can tell, it doesn't feel like the actors are, like, from the clips I've seen, I don't think this is an acting problem. I feel as though this is very heavily a directorial and writer problem, right? And I still don't think you should be shitty to them either. They are people. They tried to make a thing. It didn't work out. It happens. Just don't be a jerk. We're still going to talk about it, and we're going to make fun of the thing, because that's what we do around here. We separate artist from the art. We're going to make fun of the thing. But I want to stress, just because we make fun of the thing does not give you the right to start insulting the director or the writers or the cast or any of the crew. Okay? Be an adult. The first real thing that I heard from Netflix's Bebop was rumblings from critics online saying like, it's bad. And I was like, oh, because no offense, but the critics love everything these days, especially anything that Netflix shoves in front of their face. So the fact that critics were like, it's bad, I was like, that's not good. As soon as they said it was bad, I was like, uh-oh, that's bad. That's bad. But then the scene dropped, and you've likely seen it. It's the scene of Spike and Jet talking about bidets, and then Faye runs in. She has a bullet hole in her arm, and she's talking about scientists turning people into trees, and it doesn't feel like Bebop at all. It feels like Seinfeld. And like, you know what it feels like? And I mentioned this on Twitter. Like, I, like many others, took a shot at the show on Twitter. And my take was that it felt like some Netflix exec was hiding out behind Disney headquarters and found a tossed away script in the trash for like some rejected pitch for one of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. And the thing is, it really does feel like a Seinfeld episode in space, which, if you know nothing about Bebop, you might enjoy it. Honestly, if this was not Bebop, it was just like John Cho, and I do not know the name of the man who plays Jet, but he is really good, by the way. Like, in the clip, I'm like, I hate the dialogue, but he looks like Jet, he acts like Jet. I was like, I bought him as Jet, right? I just hated the dialogue. The dialogue was terrible. And the way the camera kept, like, whip panning in all the clips I've seen, like, what the hell? Like, Spike grabbing a panel, like a comic book panel, and then beating people, like, why does everything, like, zoom and, like, Dutch angle and, like, fisheye lens? Like, everything about it is weird. Like, it's weird. It doesn't feel like Bebop. Like, nothing about the clips, the trailer, or, like, anything that I've seen about it, like, screenshots, anything, feels like Bebop. And that really came to a head with the Seinfeld scene. This is where the internet really started to turn on this. And then the show dropped. And then I saw people saying, do not watch this. Because here's the thing, right? One of my favorite characters in Bebop was Ed. So when all the promotional material was coming out, I was like, where's Edward? Nowhere to be seen, right? Wrong!
Spike Spiegel! Spike! Cowboy! Bounty hunter for hire! Wake up! I have a job for you!
What the fuck? See, the funny thing is, it's not even like they did Ed dirty. Ed is always been eccentric, you know, so the actor did a good job. This is not on them. They did the best that they could. But this was just, to me, I cringed and crumpled, like, I cringed inward and then crumpled into myself like a broken slinky. Good for you if you caught the Olin Rogers reference, but that's how it felt. It just felt like, what am I looking at? What is this? And here's the thing. I've seen people try to defend this scene by saying, like, well, that's who Ed is. It just doesn't translate well to live action. Then don't do it. Don't do it. Just don't. If it's not going to translate well, don't do it. Because from what I hear about the entire show is that it doesn't translate well. And from what I've seen with my own eyes is that it doesn't translate well. Here's the thing. Edward is an anime character. So Edward acts eccentric, and it makes sense because they're in a land of eccentric characters, right? Everything's eccentric in Bebop, right? Bebop has soul to it, right? It has like a real jazzy atmosphere, but it's still anime. It's still wacky, right? This is the same problem I have with a lot of live action adaptations. Not even just like Hollywood stuff, just like live action adaptations of anime in general. The ones that work are the stories that are at least a little bit more grounded in reality. So let me ask you this. Instead of Bebop, why not like a Silent Voice? Or Hyoka? Or like Free or something? Just like Haikyuu, right? Something where it's grounded in reality. Something like that. That would have worked a lot better than Bebop. Because apparently you just can't do Bebop correctly. I guess. And I'm not the only person who feels like that. At the time of recording, this series, like this first season of what I assume Netflix thought was going to be a big hit, has a 49% from critics on Rotten Tomatoes and a 51% from audiences. That is a crazy score. That is a vicious score. That is like mean. That is very low. Like for Rotten Tomatoes, that is painfully low. And I'm just like, you know what? I feel like a lot of relief. I feel like for once I was actually smart, which is rare. But for once I actually feel smart because I didn't watch it. I saw the promotion material. I went, nope. I saw all the takes and I went, yep. Yep. And yeah, like I said, I'm not the only person who felt this way. Here's just some of my favorite tweets that showed up on my feed. Maybe you guys have seen some of these. Fruit from V Shoujo says, I love Bebop, but man, did they miss the mark with this live action. I have to agree. Mel from V Shoujo says, woke up from a nightmare where I dreamed that Netflix released their Cowboy Bebop trailer, and it was incredibly mediocre. Oh, wait! And yeah, this is the friggin' bidet scene. Stop, I'm begging you. I feel you, Spike. I feel ya. This one's just hilarious. Can't believe Cowboy Bebop copied trash taste conversations. Why you gotta come at trash taste like that, Gig? Garnt, listen, I know you're part of it, but like, damn. You didn't have to do yourself dirty like that, my boy. Susie just kind of hits the nail on the head, saying, I was looking forward to Cowboy Bebop's live-action adaptation, but everything about it is weird. The writing is bad, the visuals are accurate, but the cinematography is strange. Most shots are either close-ups, wide-angle lenses, or Dutch angles, and it just feels dated. Cowboy Bebop should be timeless. And yeah, I agree. It really should be. And it is. Just not this adaptation. And now for my personal favorite from the man, the myth, the legend himself, Kaiser Neko. Cowboy Bebop, Netflix, 2020. I love the kind of bidet that can wash my ass. Yes. Good tweet. Good tweet. So let me ask you this. Is there a lesson to be learned here? No. I mean, yes, but also no. The takeaway is that you can't trust Netflix, apparently, because this is now 2 strikes, so fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice. Yeah, so I'm looking at you, One Piece. Now, to be fair, the casting for One Piece was pretty good, but it's still Netflix, and at this point, the track record, it ain't looking good. Honestly, Netflix is starting to remind me a bit of Disney, in the sense that Disney has been like remaking their like animated classics into live action for a while now. And now you have Netflix like making live action adaptations of anime. And to me, they both just completely misunderstand why they're so fondly remembered in the first place. It's not just because they're great stories, although they are. Animation really is able to capture things that you just can't do in live action. Animation, whether that's like Western animation or anime, or donghua, or what have you, right? They can capture emotion in, like, really, like, there's something about animation that just speaks to this, you know? Like, it speaks to the heart, it feels more raw. There's something about animation that I just feel I have an easier time connecting to. It speaks to you in an even more emotional level than a lot of live action stuff does. And that's not to say live action does not speak to you on an emotional level too. It's just, I feel like you can convey so much more depth and meaning with animation, and you can do so much more creatively and artistically than what you can do with live action. And unfortunately, Cowboy Bebop is just another reminder of that. But yeah, that's it for me. So just remember, Discord in the description, come hang out with us. Be nice to the cast and crew. They did the best they could. And let me know your favorite meme from all of this craziness. I still think Kaiser made my favorite. Just, I love the kind of bidet that can wash my ass. But yeah, anyway, outro. And that's going to do it for another video for this week, everybody. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to boop that up snoot, share if you care, leave a comment down below, and of course, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and set notifications to all. Let all of AniTube know that you are here. And before we go, as always, I have to give a big thank you to my wonderful masters who help keep this channel afloat. And of course, I have to give a special thank you to the masters of masters. And they are Izevi, Asaki VT, Elizabeth Just Elizabeth, JCran23, Jeremy P, Matt87 Eagle, Shadow Creative, Shiorans, Stephen G, Stevie W, Trapmaster, Trevor W, and Tristan G. Thank you all so much for your continued support. It means the world to me, and if you too would like to see your name scrolling past the screen, or maybe have your voice shouted out at the end of these videos, be sure to check out that link in the description to our Patreon page, or you can hit the join button right beside the sub button. Either way helps out tremendously, and I thank you a lot for it. And yeah, that's it for me. So, until next time, make sure you clean your room. It's filthy. Seriously, a clean room is a clean mind. Just think about it, okay? Anyway, bye.